Hey guys, it's Scott with Scottie B Cards, and in this video I want to discuss if your favorite player is overvalued or undervalued. So a lot of the times when I'm making content or when I'm just posting things on Instagram, I will see X player is so undervalued. And what determines if a player is undervalued? I think one of the best ways to do this is look at his value relative to other players' value that he's currently playing alongside. So what I mean by that is, let's just say we want to say Bo Bichette is undervalued, but he's comparable to Francisco Lindor, right? So we could say, okay, well, is Bo Bichette really better than Francisco Lindor? If I believe he is, then yes, his card should be equal to or more than Lindor. But because I don't think Bo Bichette's better than Lindor, I think he should be worth less. So he's in a good spot. Like that type of thought process. So what I did is I looked at around 20 or 25 players that I think are collected very heavily in sports cards, and I want to show you which tier they are in relative to other players that are currently playing. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and the way I did this is you actually can see I did a Bowman Chrome Gold BGS 9.5. These are the actual sales. A lot of them, because they are gold BGS 9.5s, are older, and because of that, that's only one of the three weights. I also have blue Bowman Chrome autographs and Bowman Chrome base autographs, and these are all BGS 9.5s of these players. The reason I did three again is just because sometimes sales can be a little bit wonky, and I did pull these sales, I believe, from early December. So just be aware of that as we go through these. These could have all changed slightly, but they're all still really in the same location. So I made the names, hidden over here, but right overall, you'll see a couple different players. You can see this player was number 2 in gold Bowman Chrome autographs. They were number 1 in base and number 1 in blue. And so their overall score is going to be 1.33. And that's how I ranked all of these players. So let's just jump into this. The very first tier I want to show is tier 5. These are the players that are above 20 on their average ranking. Here are the prices that their card sold for. This is the individual rank of those, and overall what the overall ranking was. It was 20 for Austin Riley. It was 20.33 for Bo Bichette, 21.33 for Lindor. I still included Wander Franco, 21.67. Obviously now with the news that came out, he should be worth significantly less than everybody on this list, but his cards still go for a lot for some reason. Talk about pure gambling and speculation buying his cards right now. And then we have Carlos Correa, who's dead last in gold, blue, and base, which is pretty crazy because he still has about 40 WAR. He was great on the Astros, still below 30 in age. So that's maybe a little bit of a risk. But I think one of the biggest people that stands out here is Lindor in regards to being in this group, because it feels like he is on a relative Hall of Fame pace. So maybe his cards are a little bit undervalued. I'm not going to say much about who I think is overvalued or undervalued moving forward. I just want to show these cards to you, and you can say, that player should be a tier higher, or that player should be a tier lower. We're going to see if anything else stands out. So next up is tier 4. Here we have players that really haven't proven themselves besides Paul Goldschmidt, who in my opinion is a Hall of Famer. He is below Jordan. Goldschmidt is going to be, I think, like the 16th ranked, but his actual average score is 17.67. Then we have Corey Seager at 19.33, Rafael Devers at 19.33, and we have Jordan Alvarez at 15. So overall, again, we have 3 young players with hype, all of which are on a good track currently, but they need to really continue to be better than they have been up to this point in order to really have Hall of Fame consideration. And then we have Paul Goldschmidt, who is in this tier 4 as well. At tier 3, we actually have Tatis, Freddie Freeman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Nolan Arenado, Justin Verlander, and Manny Machado. If we do this thing in the correct order, we have Machado at 14.33, Verlander at 13.67, Arenado at 13.67. Vlad is above everybody to this point at 11.67. Then we have Freeman at 11 and Tatis at 10.33. Pretty surprising to see a couple of these names like Vlad above Arenado, Verlander, and Machado is surprising to me. And on top of that, Tatis, after a suppressed offensive season, I'm also kind of surprised he is here as well. But overall, that is how people are spending their money, and that is what tier 3 looks like. Here's where it gets interesting. Here's tier 2. These are the players in tier 2. We have Julio Rodriguez, who is at 9.33 for his average score, Mookie Betts at 8.67, Bryce Harper at 7.33, and Clayton Kershaw at 5.67. So overall, these are the players that are between 5 and 9.9 on the score. In tier 3, it actually was 10 to 14.99. Tier 4 was 15 to 19.99, and tier 5 was 20 plus. So you get what I'm talking about. And again, Julio Rodriguez seems to be a little bit surprising here, only because of his age and hasn't really had a ton of major league success yet. He was good his first year, and then he was really good the second half of his second year. But overall, he is priced according to essentially Mookie Betts and Bryce Harper. So in order for Julio Rodriguez to go up, he needs to pass Mookie Betts and Bryce Harper in regards to the hobby's eyes. And there might be some bias. Actually, there is some bias towards young players in Major League Baseball, which is extremely obvious in prospecting of these players. And we usually see these players fizzle out. I'm not saying that's going to be Julio, but he is currently priced alongside Kershaw, Harper, and Betts, 3 future Hall of Famers. So that leads us to Tier 1. Here in Tier 1, we have Aaron Judge at 4.67, Ronald Acuna Jr. at 4.33, Juan Soto at 3.67, Mike Trout at 1.67, and Shohei Ohtani at 1.33. Ohtani would have been 1 across the board if he only had 1 Bowman Chrome autograph, but he actually has 2, a pitching and a hitting. I use the hitting pose because it's usually more sought after and goes for more. But overall, you can see the 2 here really separate themselves by a huge margin to everybody else. This could be Tier 1A and this could be Tier 1B. But it is surprising to see Tier 1, how it's Soto and Acuna. Acuna, everybody said his cards didn't go up this year. Even though he won the MVP, his cards weren't that high. That's because a Tier 1 MVP type pricing was already baked in. And that's going to be the same with Soto. I think if Soto has a massive year at the Yankees, he has benefit of playing for the Yankees. Yes, and if he stays there for the long term, yes, that's going to help. We can see that with Judge's pricings. He's really high, even though his last year was underwhelming because of injury. But overall, I think Juan Soto has potential to be slightly overpriced. And I think Acuna, he's probably priced correctly, maybe slightly overpriced as well, because they are some of the most expensive baseball cards in the entire modern baseball card hobby. So that's Tier 1. This is Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5. Overall, I thought this was going to be interesting to discuss because, again, I hear all the time, X player is undervalued. So the next time you want to say X player is undervalued, compare them to this list and go see, are they really undervalued? Are they in the right tier in my eyes? Is there potential for them to move tiers up? Could Bryce Harper or Mookie Betts move to Tier 1? Should Clayton Kershaw be in Tier 1? You can ask those questions when looking at their cards. Other than that, thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if any of these surprised you, who you think should be higher, and who you should be lower. And other than that, I will see you in the next video.